So, welcome to Adventure Airsoft. This time I thought I'd do a bit of a voiceover on what's happening. This is at the Armoury, First and Only Armoury events, which is predominantly in the northwest of England, but this is the first game called the Meat Grinder, but basically it's attack and defend. So essentially we set off as a defenders, a small group of us a large group of us with a small group of attackers that had red bands on. And as soon as you're killed off the first time round, you go and get a red band, and then it switches sides. And when you've got right numbers either side, then you start with the other game. So this is kind of like a meat grinder, just to get everyone involved. Now, for the first part of the video here, I break out from the buildings, which is just behind us there. There's two buildings for us to defend. I look left, and I notice in a second that there's friendly forces on to my left flank, and they're moving further forward. The same friendly forces end up shooting me in a second because they're slightly less observant than me. I still push with them, sort of level with them, and they turn around and basically shoot me, which is great.
Are you friendly? Are you friendly though? Are you defending? I gotcha.
So yeah, basically, a bit of blue on blue there. So unusual from an American, clearly not the first time I've had blue on blue from Americans. So I go down to the respawn point, get my red bands, and then I am the enemy or the attacker. I then go behind our own friendly forces, which are just ahead of us now, and then just clear them off. So you'll see that in a second of the first kill. There's one, nice one, easy. And then basically I end up doing a 180 back onto the building that I was defending a second ago. You can see that's the same track there, and then now pushing towards the building to try and clear it. We're quite lucky with the weather here. A couple of weeks ago, the weather here was terrible. When it gets wet here, the ground becomes, because it's quite clay based, it becomes quite heavy. And sticks to your boots and everything like that. So it's been quite good with the woodland. Quite humid, but then again still quite nice. Second kill there, guys. Started to come through the trees. The building is actually to my sort of 2 o'clock-ish through those trees there. So that's quite a nice entrance for them to come through that break in the tree line to try and gain access to the building. Sorry, to try and defend the building, because I'm attacking now. So yeah, the defenders are coming through that tree line there to try and still stop us coming down these flanks. So you see, as the friendly forces along behind me and to my right, there's a couple of friendlies to the right there moving along the sort of ditch. I perch myself by this tree, which I can get eyes on that left-hand path, and also I can see the corner of the building. So I can see some fire coming from the corner of the building, which you'll see in a second. So they start suppressing the building now. Get a couple of kills there. Excuse the language there. So now I've pushed up slightly further, about another 10-15 feet to the corner of the building, which you can just see through the trees. And it appears that there's no one actually holding inside the building, but there is fire coming from the sort of my 1 o'clock now in the corner of the building, some sort of bushes there, but I couldn't quite see them, so I was just sort of firing a little bit in there. And the guy created a kill zone, so I decided to move left. So this is the left-hand side of the building now that you're looking at, onto that track that I was covering before. Now it opens up here, so this track runs behind the building, sort of north to south. And the second objective is the building just to my 11 o'clock that you'll see in a second. So you'll see, as I look down that path there, on the right hand side of the path is one building, and that building through the trees on my left is the secondary objective. So as I start to move forward here, I get some fire coming from the back of these trees. So now onto you can just see the corner of the building there, which was the objective I was looking at before. As I started to move up here, I had some fire coming from the trees. Luckily I wasn't hit or anything. And as it's quite thick vegetation, I decided not to try and do that. I decided to sort of fall back a little bit as I was only on my own. The other guy got hit behind me. He got hit from the building, which is sort of to my 7 o'clock now. So they're obviously hiding in the shadows of this building, and then decide to move up slightly further forward. They get a few rounds incoming, but miss.
Marshall coming through. Marshall coming through. Dead man running through. Marshall coming through.
Yeah, it's busy around here. I can't believe that. The dead man runs straight in front of us, and then also the marshal, obviously rightly so, goes to make sure, as we're moving up on the building, goes to make sure that he's marshalling properly. So Jamie does a good job there of doing that.
Yeah.
Just sadly walks straight in front of us. We try to fire.
Push up my cover here. Straight in front of us.
So we decided to send the sacrificial lamb in. This guy wants to go in there, so.
And I'm getting fire from this straight ahead 12 o'clock.
So as I'm putting fire down, he moves up. But there's a doorway to the left and a doorway straight on. So as he goes up, he ends up getting shot, I think, from the left-hand doorway. Because he doesn't. I think it's because he doesn't clear the left-hand doorway. He just walks straight into the corner between both doorways, as you'll see in a second. He walks straight past one, which he does now, into the other, and then gets shot. So what the forlorn hope there does what the forlorn hope doesn't, gets killed. So I decided to push on past this. The guy in front of me got killed through the bushes here, so there's like a kill zone, little holes through the building in certain places, so they can shoot out. So this guy obviously got shot through that through one of those kill holes. You just can't see the holes there. So I decided to push up with this guy. This guy in a lovely sort of Viet Cong sort of kit out. There's quite a few of them actually. There's a group of 5 or 6 this time, which look quite interesting. I would have some scope cam footage, but the scope cam actually recorded nothing of any worth throughout the entire day. It was just recording the blur or recording nothingness. So I'll have to get that fixed, but just running on the head cam at the minute. I'm just going to be messing around with it, trying to get it back on, because it used to start recording and then time out. So as I cover the rear then, this other guy in front of me is going to, he pushes around the corner. Takes a couple of minutes. I cropped this because it took maybe 5-10 minutes for us to like eke our way around the corner and make sure it's clear. Just as we go around this corner, it's quite an open sort of wide junction. There's 2 or 3 paths going off it, and it's one of the main entrances into the building. So it's basically like a little kill zone. So if you end up going down the path, you're just either going to end up sitting there wasting ammo, or you have to end up flanking. So after we sort of snuggled ourselves round, snuggle is an affectionate military term, so look it up. He ends up pushing further forward. Now you can see one of the tracks there, so you can see where the ammo box is there. Just to the right of that, there's a track that runs to the front corner of the building, which is the main entrance to the building. The only downside is I don't have a grenade, so later on I improvise using a can that's right there next to me. It seems to do the job. So there's a couple of friendlies pushing up now.
Should be missed.
Yeah, he ended up taking a few pot shots at me, but he missed luckily. So yeah, we end up moving further around. He goes to that corner there, which is good to get some cover down. Now I suggest to him, you move forward and I'll cover you. So we can see into the doorway now of the building. Now what some of the attacking forces do is they end up flanking out the back of the building, and they come round and they cover these little entrances, these little paths. So you just got to be careful every now and again once you start pushing this far ahead here, especially with the thick vegetation. Someone could just be sat in there and taking pot shots at you. Not sure what this guy was actually doing now, whether he was standing there or just slowly moving forward, but I can see the corner of the building is quite heavy vegetation this time of year. Do a nice cutback. Some friendlies moving up now, which is good for us. So he's gone round the back of this big tree, this big bush, which will bring him out on that sort of my 11 o'clock. There's another little passage there, which brings him closer to the enemy. So from past experience here, I never ever try and, you'll see a lot of people in a bit just trying to hit this head on straight into this, and it just turns into a massive, I wouldn't say a sausage fest, but it's just unbelievable. Everyone's bunched up in there just trying to shoot into a doorway, wasting ammo. There's a couple of entrances to the back of this building to try and, you could cut yourself through the foliage, which you'll see in a second. So I got hit by a sniper there, which I can't see him. He must have been sat in the building, but I'll tell you what I hurt. He went straight through on my helmet. He went straight through one of the vent holes in my helmet and hit me straight on the head. So basically after respawning, then I respawned back at and came back through exactly the same route I did before, because it was a sort of safe route. Back to the same corner of the building. A guy smoked, and then we just used that opportunity to come in the sort of back way that you saw before. So as I put some suppression fire down, the guy threw a smoke, sort of poorly placed really, just smoking that area there. Some guys moved up through the trees, and now we had a chance to clear the building. So this left-hand building left-hand doorway here is just an empty building. There's no way through, but there is like little mouse holes and kill holes and stuff through the building. So to make sure we clear that. Thought I saw somebody moving there, but don't think so.
Did you see that happen?
Luckily, guy on the corner there. Luckily, he missed, or he was blinded by the light. I don't know, but yeah, managed to clear that quite easily. We're then moving to the big side of the building now, which is like a sort of a bit of an amazing side. And the guy throws a flashbang in, perfectly placed, really good grenade. Goes off and it kills 5 or 6 people that were just loitering in that area. You can see them all piling out now. He managed to put it round one doorway, threw it diagonally into another doorway, which cleared that open space there, which was fab. So then basically we just quite quickly cleared the rest of the rooms. I switched to my sidearm just because it's easy to manoeuvre around. Yeah, there's about a 15-foot drop there, which is out of bounds. Normally it's full of water. It's empty today. This place used to be an old armoury, an armaments factory, so you can see loads of structures still left there, concrete structures, which is quite nice. And we end up. The interesting thing is people aren't covering any kind of doors or anything; they're just sort of loitering and so try and make sure they're covering a door, because that doorway there was the doorway that we were looking at before from the other side of the fourth junction. So you can see if you've got a sniper rifle there on this side of the building, you can shoot straight through there, no problems. And that guy just takes it into his own hands and walks around the corner and gets shot in the process. And that's it. So yeah, that's first game of the day at the Armoury. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe. Please press the buttons and give us some thumbs up, etc. If you want to know about any of the kit, please check in the descriptions. There's some more videos if I'm following the game. So yeah, stay tuned. Thank you.